Now do you see that that's the nature we have? You can't change that nature, but you can watch it, and you can incline toward the truth and allow God's light to enter your life. And when His light enters your life, it does many wonderful things. It enlightens your mind. It gives you a right attitude. In other words, you see things the way they are. Before, you saw everything backwards. You saw good as bad and bad as good, and what made you feel good you thought was good, and what made you feel bad you thought was bad. And people who catered to you, you thought they were your friends, and people who told you the truth, you thought they were wet blankets, and so on. You had everything backwards. So now, if you can see that, you see the lie is the lie. You see your own weakness. You see how easily, what a sucker you are for lies. But now not resenting seeing it. Not resenting seeing the truth, not resenting others, realizing that they can't help themselves either, not resenting God, not resenting the light of conscience for showing you, not resenting yourself, not resenting anything, just seeing. See, if you, for example, in the past, maybe you saw that you were impatient, or you saw that you were messing your kids up, or you saw something about yourself that wasn't so good, but then you rolled up your sleeves and you ambitiously tried to change yourself. Do you see it's ambition again? You ambitiously tried to change yourself, and you rushed around huffing and puffing and striving and tried to make yourself good, and you couldn't. When you couldn't, you resented seeing it. See? Or you saw your own proclivities, you saw your own animal nature, your lusting, greedy, hungry, voracious, thirsty nature. You saw that rising. See, the animal rises. When we spiritually fall, then the animal rises. And you saw that, and you tried to hide it. You tried to cover it up. You tried to repress it. You see what I mean? But it was still there. So now what you need to do is learn to watch and to allow God's light to do the work. See, His light can change you. What you need is a new nature, one that answers to God, one that is moved by Him, by what comes from Him, by seeing the truth. When you see the truth and know the truth and love the truth, then things are simple. It's easy to do what's right. And God will restrain your lower self. He will restrain the rabbit thoughts. He will restrain your animal nature and hold the darkness that now has entered. See, the thing is, when we reach for wrong, then darkness enters. And then it talks to you in your mind, and it begins to control you. And it takes advantage of your weakness and your gullibility. And it uses you as its pawn, as its tool, you see. So He will restrain it, and He will give you light so that every day you can see a little bit more and realize a bit more and understand a bit more. And every day a bit more natural control. You will find that in the light you will change, and your ego will come back to being a natural ego again, like you were when you were a young person. You know, yeah, you were a little selfish and so on, and emotional, but you were innocent. You weren't corrupted yet. Corrupted by. So what is it that corrupts us? See, when you reach for something ambitiously, what you reach for gets inside of you. What you reach for, you become subject to. And something of it gets into you. Do you understand that? So that's how corruption occurs. That's how you become corrupt. And what is it that corrupts us the most? Yeah, things corrupt us. Drugs corrupt us. But what corrupts us the most? Judgment. That's right. Judging other people. And hating them. You could say judgment, hatred, resentment. It's judgment. Because you see, that's the quintessential act of playing God, judging. God is the great judge of the universe. And His judgments are true, you see. But when you play God, you judge. You see what I mean? And you come in conflict with God. And your judgments are based on imperfect knowledge. So your judgments are imperfect. There's something ugly about judgment. When other people judge you, see, when they look down their nose upon you or so on, you see it, don't you? And you don't like it. Well, when you go around judging others, usually secretly. And the worst part is that you judge your own family. You judge your husband. That's right. You judge your kids. And then you feel guilty for your judgments. And then in your guilty, you spoil them. And you make things worse. So you need to butt out of other people's lives. Stand back and begin to stand back and watch those judgments and those resentments. And now stand in disagreement with them, quiet disagreement. And learn to meditate, to be centered, and for patience, and for the light to stream in. You need the light to stream in and quieten your ambitious nature and restrain your animal impulses and give you enlightenment so that you can see what's true. You can see the lie is the lie. See, that's what you need to do. Now you see the whole world enslaved to one lie after another. And you too have been enslaved to lies. Now you have to see it. And you have to learn to wait upon God. And He will save you from all of it. And it begins with the most simple thing, seeing your own wrong and admitting it quietly in your heart, instead of resenting seeing it, instead of rolling up your sleeves and trying to change yourself, or instead of excusing your behavior or blaming other people, just quietly see it. And that's how it begins.